On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, he's over there, we're going to do another installment of our series called The Interviews, and the Beard is going to tell you who we're interviewing.
Yeah, so in this series, we've been in season 1 of the series. We've been talking to pedal manufacturers, basically, and today we have with us, really excited about this, Rick Matthews from Matthews Effects. So how are you doing, Rick?
I'm doing really good. Excited to be here with you.
My introduction to your company came with this pedal, which is the Astronomer. Actually came with version 1, and this is number 37, so I guess that's what that means, right? So This was picked up really quick. When version 2 came out, version 1 went away, and version 2 came in. Had to take this off my pedal board and bring it home with me because it lives at the church where we play on Sundays. And just for this, great pedal.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say a huge part of our customer base is definitely been the Astronomer, our baby.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Can't say enough. We did a little episode on this a while ago when we were first kind of starting the channel. So I'm going to put a link in the cards on that so if people want to go and check that out. So I think today, the buzz, right? What's going on with Matthews Effects is the new pedal is the Futurist.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've been a little bit quiet last year. Really we've been spending a lot of time developing the whole platform of pedals we're really excited to release to everyone. And the first one in that, the kind of foundation of everything that's to come, is called the Futurist. And it is our compact MIDI controller and BPM generator. And really the goal with it is to make something that is easier and more pain-free than any other controller on the market. I think anyone who's ever used one, a big part of the community is either intimidated by the Futurist or not the Futurist, but by MIDI. They're intimidated by MIDI or you don't understand how it works. It can be really confusing. So we wanted to make something that was really simple, straightforward, but was powerful enough for the more veteran users as well.
So doing some research and watching videos from Nam, really, right? You're doing something unique with MIDI in that I can go in, put the pedal I want to put MIDI on. It will preload a lot of those presets or the programming part of that for me. So taking some of that complication out of setting up the MIDI, right?
Yeah, that part of the product is what I'm most excited for. What we're launching with the Futurist hardware is a computer editor. And a really cool part of that is what we're calling the Smart Editor Wizard. And so what we'll be able to do is all you have to know is the MIDI channel that your product is set to. And you choose that. You choose the brand, the model, the action you want to take, let's say preset. And then there'll be a box for a variable, and let's put in 4. And that will auto-generate a mesh to take you to preset 4 on that specific product. We're going to launch it with certain brands and products already supported, but the concept is that it'll be a community-driven thing where anyone can be in the database and it's not just the bigger company.
That's awesome. So for us, for me, who's, I've dabbled a little bit in the MIDI thing, whatever, but not a lot. And so thinking about the pedal board that I'm running most weeks, there's a Source Audio Nemesis delay pedal, which would accept MIDI and have presets. And so the Futurist would allow me to have that where it is, not have to play the game of I'm going to step and hold on the tap button, wherever it is, and then scroll through the presets, but I could just set them up and assign them. Also, though, really love the idea of the clock, the analog clock on that you can send that out as well. And then even with your pedals, right? So this is kind of new technology for you. If we go back to the Astronomer, so the ability to turn that on and off. But what's really cool, I'm talking about your stuff, but so if I mess up, correct me. But what's really cool about this pedal is you have the same pedal basically in both rows. So you have 2 rows of knobs. two different reverbs, set them up two different ways, the MIDI control would allow me to bump back and forth between those as well too.
Yeah, you could basically save and changes with your digital products. You know, whether it's our stuff where you have that you can control the bypass or the row. You know, you got the JHS Red remote stuff, or even if you wanted to change the channel, or say like turn on the reverb, you know, being able to sync that with the presets on your timelines and your tremolos and stuff like that, it makes it a lot more powerful for controlling everything that you have.
Yeah, so somebody that's not familiar with this, think I can hit a button, my preset delay comes on, my tremolo syncs with that, and maybe the reverb switches. You know, I can do multiple things all at one time with the press of one button. So
Yeah,
without this giant,
you basically have this really deep well of things that you can do, but you can also keep it really simple. You know, I think the problem with a lot of controllers is they have a crazy stuff you can do, and then when you try to edit stuff, it's so convoluted, so complicated. It's hard for new to really get invested, you know, in the product. And so we kept it very clear, very straightforward, very goal oriented. What you're trying to do, so it's very easy to use. And then also another thing that I'm excited about, I've kind of been realizing last week, is all with the computer editor, all the presets and everything, you can export files for that, so you can share with other people, and really that creates an opportunity. If someone completely does want anything at all, they could consult with someone. You know, I think start doing it. And people say like, tell me, give me a picture of your pedal board. I just need to know what channels these products are on. Tell me what you want it to do. I'll generate the file for you and I'll send it to you. And maybe you give them $10 or something like that. But you wouldn't even have to program everything. You can literally have other people send you files to program your whole pedal board layouts. And then all you have to do is you press switches and it'll do what you want it to do.
that's crazy. And the size of it too, right? So the size is very orientated towards like whether you have a big pedal board or a travel board that you want to get a little bit of MIDI control on a travel board. So the size is great as well.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it compact, also because there are really great other controllers on the market, and when I try to launch a new product, I kind of try to look where a gap in the market, where is there that's missing. So the size, the compactness of it, really felt like, you know, a great opportunity to do something unique. And then as this one as well, I could totally see doing a bigger one with more, you know, maybe looper functions and stuff like that next down the line. And so this is kind of proof of concept. It's also everything coming after this product has MIDI and has USB. So everything is going to work with this. It's going to work with them. It's a synergy. It's a whole, you know, ecosystem of products that we're going to be launching, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. So let's talk real quick. Let me put the website back up. And for those of you that don't know, I'll put the web address here on the bottom. And we did lose PJ for a little bit here. We're going to keep rolling without him. Here he is. I don't know what's the matter with that guy. So let me throw the website up, and I guess maybe just click on your store. So there's a lot of other popular pedals. You just want to take like a minute, kind of walk us through the other pedals that you have out right now?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, definitely our most popular product is the Astronomer. It's kind of been the darling of the brand, and honestly was our first real big commercial success for us. It's a Hall shimmer reverb. It's got 3 different shimmer or octave reverbs on it. Its sister pedal is the Cosmonaut, which is modulated reverbs, and then it's got a analog tape emulating delay in it, which is really fun. And then the brother to those two is the Chemist, And where those three all share the same kind of architecture with how the knobs and switches work, the Chemist is a modulation pedal. So you have chorus, phaser, and octave all on that one pedal, giving you all three of those give you a lot of functionality in a small space. The other two is the Whaler, which is an original fuzz circuit. It can go from a really wide range of tones, from like a pushed bluesy, distorted tube amp, all the way up to a thick distortion-y fuzz. It also really loves being stacked with. It gets even thicker and thicker the more you hit the front end of it, which is really cool. And then the Architect is an overdrive and boost in one. It's my take on the Klon circuit. I was actually the first one in the industry to do a full active 3-band EQ on a Klon. So you have that, you have 3 clipping options, and then you have an independent boost channel that has 2 different boost circuits in it. So no matter the guitar combination that you're using with the Architect, you should be able to dial in a sound that you like. And that was kind of the goal with that one, is just give you so many different tonal combinations and options that it'll always be able to sound good in your rig.
Awesome. And I haven't had the opportunity to play like the Architect or the Whaler yet. But just from playing the Astronomer, the knob, and I can't say this enough for anybody that's kind of new to what you're doing. The layout is incredible. Like if you want, because a lot of people get into, like, especially in that praise and worship world or whatever, get into some pedals that take a deep dive to really dial in. And Pat and I are kind of old school, where we like pedals that you plug in and you can turn them on and you get a great sound. And so you can get a great reverb, whether it's a hall or room or sprint, whatever. And then you can get a great kind of shimmer reverb on the second channel. And you're not spending all day deep diving into a pedal to figure that out. And so I really love the layout that you use on that. And that's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, that really resonated with, I think, was the ability to not have to do programming, but have ability and have sound. And so, yeah, that one's been awesome for
great.
Have a special in my heart.
Yeah, it's really a great pedal. And if you, like I said, if you haven't checked it out, you really need to check out what Rick is doing over at Matthews Effects. One thing I've noticed, when I started following Matthews Effects, is that you're very active in online communities, right? So we see you pop up, Facebook groups, stuff like that. I know even myself, I think back when I had version 1, had reached out to you about a question, and you had, like, got an answer from you right away. So very involved in that, and those type of communities where people are using your products, and now you're actually kind of continuing that from what you were saying earlier, this idea that let's continue to build that community. Let's put a product out that people are going to come together and help each other with, provide stuff for. And I think that's kind of cool. What's kind of your vision, I guess, for that community then?
Yeah, so I have been really blessed so far. Really passionate community around the products. And we have a Facebook group called the Matthews Effects Innovators, which is for just anyone who is an owner or interested in owning one of the pedals to kind of just connect with other people who are using them and find out general gear stuff. But what's exciting about this product is there's a real opportunity to really share files and to help each other build this product. I mean, it will be so much more a year to 2 years to 3 years from now than it is at launch, because it's going to be a living product where we're very active with the community, listening to what they want and implementing it in firmware updates. I'm really excited about that. It's our first product that we've been able to do USB, where we can just update the product. I mean, maybe there's some crazy weird error that we haven't been able to catch. Well, if there is, then we just catch that and update it over USB to you. But also just being able to build the functions on the software as well with the database that we're obviously not everyone is going to be into the concept of looking through data, manuals for products and writing down how each of them works. The goal is to have it something to where brands start to see the benefit of it and just submitting this thing. So where we actually have brands into the market. And ultimately, I hope that it changes the way MIDI is interacted with from a consumer standpoint and a business standpoint. Other brands, I'm sure if it goes well, will probably try to replicate the same kind of system. And I'm excited to leave a mark on the industry and how things are done and kind of innovate with it. So I think it's an exciting time to see how this plays out.
Right. And so as you were talking about that, and so right now, for those of you that are watching, we're kind of riddled with like technical glitches here today. So for the first time ever, Pat's being very quiet, and it's just simply because his microphone isn't working all of a sudden.
How about now?
Oh no, now we hear him, but I'm still gonna steal his thunder a little bit, I think. And then we'll get it over to him.
Questions queued up here.
Because you were just talking about the community. So Pat, you had a question, I think relates to the community on the other side, not the consumer side, between pedal manufacturers. Want to jump in on that?
So one thing that Jason and I have learned through doing this channel is that there's a community that exists sometimes with people that might be more of a natural competitor with each other. And watching some of your videos, you recounted a story that you were able to go out to see JHS and the operation there, and spend some time and actually left with the schematics for the Panther Cub, which to me is, pretty amazing. So can you tell us a little bit more about the community, maybe some of your experiences with maybe other manufacturers?
Yeah, number one, talk about a class act. Josh Scott has been one of the most welcoming people in the industry that I've experienced. He's been super cool. Always takes my text or calls whenever I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out or having trouble. So can't heap enough awesome praise on him. But what's really unique about the industry is that predominantly everyone is like that. Everyone is so welcoming and encouraging, and what are you working on? Oh, this is what I'm working on, or I'm having trouble doing this, and willing to help out each other, because it's such an industry where the customers are making multiple purchases. It's not like amps or guitars where they're maybe buying one or they're maybe two in their lifetime even. Guitarists buy so many pedals that it doesn't feel like a cutthroat industry, which is so unique and so fun to be a part of. When I go to NAMM, it's like going to summer camp. You go to hang out and catch up with all the other builders and owners and people who are going through the same stuff that you're going through. So yeah, it's super unique, super lucky, super fun. I love being a part of this industry. I don't think I could go from this to any other industry, because everything else is so much more, not necessarily cutthroat, but definitely more like business, sharky. You gotta, beat down the competition, stuff like that. So it's pretty unique.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been finding, especially like the Josh Scott thing. So here we are, this little tiny YouTube channel, and started putting a series together on Leslie pedals, and we had a question for him, and ended up talking to him on the phone for 45 minutes. He's actually doing a little thing for us, did an interview with us. Just a super nice guy. So yeah. Totally agree with you on that. I think Pat had one more question for you.
Yeah. In doing my internet research / stalking of you and the company, what I find amazing is that it's my understanding the company's 5 or 6 years old, and sort of started with you participating with a BYOC, Build Your Own Clone program, and the guy who runs that kind of became a mentor, and just over that period of time, you have morphed into building really robust pedals and releasing something like the Futurist. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey and how that came, learning to read schematics and all of that?
Yeah, I have It's been a pretty unique journey because I can look back and kind of see how all the different things I've gone through in life has kind of prepared me for this. So like my first real job, I worked at Amazon customer service for 3 years. So I learned how to do proper good customer service there. I went from that to selling cars for a year, which I was actually really good at. And so I learned sales, how to do sales there. And then I worked for BYOC, which basically gave me kind of a foundation of how schematics work and components and how to build a pedal and stuff like that. I got hired there, and then Keith, the owner, taught me a lot. Basically, like I just said, how stuff works, even beyond the scope of just my job. Because I was always really hungry to learn more and improve and to do more, and I was always really interested in business. I knew I wanted to start my own company, and I had the really unique experience of the same month I started the company, I got diagnosed with a debilitating autoimmune disease, to where I couldn't really have a normal daytime job. And so Keith at BYC was very gracious and let me transition over time into doing my company full time and doing the hours for him that I could. But I was basically forced into fully committing to the company. And it's cool because I can look back now and go, I don't know that I would have been as successful if I hadn't have been forced to kind of fully dive into everything. But I was always really passionate about business. And if you want to be successful in business, you got to be hungry and you got to be able to have a drive that tries to not just follow the trends in the industry, but push forward and develop new things and try to stretch where the industry is going. I really believe and love looking at concepts from a different point of view. And so I try to actually gain a lot of insight and inspiration from other industries outside the pedal industry because, when you look in the pedal industry, everyone's making tube screamers and everyone's doing things the exact same way it's been done for 60 years, which a lot of the ways and a lot of certain things are just, they're good ways of doing things. But I love being able to see, like, how can we innovate? How can we do something new and special? And, I spent the last year teaching myself coding, even though I could have just had my concepts for products and given it to an engineer to code for me. That engineer was only going to ever accomplish the goals that I gave him. And if I don't know where I can push the limits in coding and microcontrollers, our products are never going to be as exciting or as innovative as they could be. So I spent a year teaching myself how to coding just so I can now go and push boundaries and try to develop new ways of doing things. So it's been a unique, weird journey, different from a lot of other pedal builders, I think. We have always been very lucky to have it grow very organically for us. So the first, couple pedals I built and sold funded the next couple, which funded the next couple, and so on and so on and so on. And now it's we've had different employees at different times, and now it's me and my buddy Jared. We're kind of a 2-man team doing all the designing and everything, and it's I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's pretty cool, fun experience.
That's an awesome story, man, and I'm sure Pat's looking forward to hearing it. So for those of you that watch, we were watching. We did say that there's this kind of technical. We've just run into so many weird technical difficulties here this evening, which is one reason we lost Rick's picture. And so Pat can hear me, and I can hear Pat, and Pat can't hear Rick. So that's an interesting way to end this. And I know from the stories that you just told, or that you just talked about, and knowing Pat, we could dive deeply into so much of that. But I think at this point, we're probably not going to. So
maybe we'll just have to do a round two sometime.
Right. And
now I heard that.
Oh, so now you hear him again?
I did.
You might have heard him through my microphone.
Probably because Rick. One thing I've had to do because I can't hear you, I've had to ration my passion.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. That's a good reference.
So, I think, oh man, there were so many things that you mentioned that I did want to touch on, but I think at this point, like, just thank you for taking some time to spend some time with us. It is a cool
definitely.
story. What's going on with your company, and how it formed and what you're doing. I know, not too long ago, Sweetwater picked up Matthews Effects. Am I right about that?
Yeah. This year has been really cool because we've been able to work with, amazing dealers like Sweetwater and Guitar Center, Musician's Friend, Z-Sounds, some really cool companies. So that's been an amazing experience.
So if you're wanting to check out Matthews Effects, go to the website down below, but also Sweetwater, Z-Sounds, all the ones that you just mentioned. So I think with that, there's more interviews coming, hopefully with less technical difficulties throughout. More interviews coming. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to find out what those are and check those out. Hit the like button, all the stuff the YouTubers say at the end. And I think with that, Pat, before I send it to Pat, Rick, thank you so much for being part of this and spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. Now with that, Pat.
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. See ya.